Alright, so once your application gets submitted to the app stores, you get your links to Google Play and to iTunes. Now, you could just distribute those links and put them onto the buttons on your website or into your email or so forth, but I actually want to know how many people are following through with those links and going to download them, and then I can compare that against how many people are actually doing a download. And that'll give me some idea about how well my App Store content and photos and so forth is actually performing. So to do that, I'm going to hook up these two buttons on the front of my website, and I'm going to take my Android and iPhone links here, and I'm going to use an intermediary system in WordPress to help me get that done. Alright, so once I'm logged in, I'm going to go and install a new plugin, and it's called Redirection. Redirection, there we go. And it's this one here by John Godley. Now what this allows me to do is set up a desired URL on my website, jindyguide.com, and a to URL, and that to URL will be my Android or iPhone URL. So once I've got to redirection, I'll click settings, and I'm going to add a new source URL. Now I like to make all of my outgoing URLs that I'm trying to track /go. Makes it nice and obvious to see what it is that's actually going to happen and where it's going. Now I'm also going to make this a regular expression, which means that I can do some fancy things with the matching. So for example, I want to make sure that the /go/iTunes is at the front of the URL, i.e. it's jindyguide.com/go/iTunes. In order to make that happen, I tell it, and I put the caret in there, and that says always at the front. And then I also want to give people the option to type it in with or without a slash. So I'm going to put a question mark on the end there and tick the regular expression piece. I'll take my iPhone link, paste that in, and then I'm going to go and create another one called Go Play, and I'm going to copy that into here as well. Make sure we've got the HTTPS, and I'll click Add Redirection. Now to test that, I'll type in where I want it to go. So I'm going to go /iTunes, and notice I'm not going to put the slash on the end. That seems to have worked kind of nicely, and there is the iTunes page, and then Chrome is asking me to open it in iTunes. I'm not going to do that for the moment. Alright, good. So let's try the other combinations of this. jindyguide.com, /iTunes, with the slash this time. That one's working fine. Alright, success. So everything's working there. Now once those have started to be used, if we go now and just refresh this page, we'll see that we start to get some hits in this column. So clicking on the hits, I can see when and where and which IP address these came from, and I can also see things like what browser they were using when they used it. So that will show me if they were on desktop, it'll show me if they're on an iPhone or an Android device as well. Alright, so now I can take those URLs and I can place them into my theme. Alright, so I'm just putting those into the theme, into the Apple button URL and the Android URL, and that one's wrong, so that one should actually be play. Let's do that and say go /iTunes/play, and then if we go and have a look at the front end of the site, when we now click on this, that's going to take us through, and it's going to log that click that's occurring. So we've got Android and iPhone.